Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a comparison between Gcam and the stock camera app for my Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Now if you guys have seen my previous videos, you would have noticed that I've uploaded a Gcam tutorial video like I've done in the past with my previous phones, but for the S21 Ultra or the S21 family in general. Now without further ado, I'm going to be showing some camera samples and video samples as well. But no, if you are in this for the front-facing camera or the selfie camera, then this video isn't for you, mainly because the Gcam port does not work for the selfie camera at all. So I'm going to be showing pictures like I said, and I'm just going to start off with two normal pictures. There's obviously a difference in color temperature wise when it comes to the pictures, but also with saturation on the Gcam port, contrast is where it's mainly focused on, compared to the stock camera app where the dark parts are basically non-existent on the stock camera app. Now this is obviously personal preference, but for this photo here, I focused exactly on the sun itself, so that gives you a better understanding of how this picture was taken. Now another one is with the tree. Now if you see on the stock camera app, it looks a bit different compared to the Gcam port because of the saturation and I think the color temperature wise. One thing I did notice when taking pictures of the stock camera app, the stock camera app tends to take more of an orange hue when it comes to photos, and the Gcam takes more of a colder tones, which is something that I noticed straight through. Now another thing you do is macro shots with the wide angle camera, so I wanted to do that with the Gcam port to see if it even worked, and to my surprise it did work. Now I'm actually going to give one to the Gcam port here. I do really like the photo when it comes to a close-ups. I don't know why, just the colors look more accurate and the detail looks a lot more accurate in my opinion compared to the stock camera app where it looks too green and too in your face, and I wasn't really a big fan of that. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into zoom capabilities. So for the Gcam port, it can go up to 10 times zoom. But for the stock camera app, it can obviously go up to 100 times zoom. We have the wide angle, which is right here. And then we're going to go to 1 times, and then we're going to go to 3 times, and then 10 times. Now, I don't know if you guys can see in the camera, but for some reason, when you use the stock camera app for 10 times zoom, the pictures have way too much sharpening going on, and I feel like that kind of ruins the photo in my opinion. So if you guys can see on the 10 times zoom, it looks a lot grainier and it looks like the sharpening was raised too high. But if you go to the Gcam app, the 10 times zoom looks a lot better and cleaner in my opinion when it comes to detail wise. It doesn't look really over sharpened and it just looks very nice. So if you are in it for the 10 times zoom capabilities, then the Gcam port is definitely there for you. Another thing I wanted to talk about is portrait mode. So portrait mode is very good on the stock camera app or the Gcam. The one thing I did notice is that Gcam does take its portrait photos farther away than the stock camera app does, which is just personal preference. You can always zoom in if you want, but yeah, that's one thing I did notice. Overall, none of the photos from the stock or Gcam port for the portrait modes are wrong, but I would say that the Gcam port does have more detail and isn't as soft when it comes to portrait mode shots. Now another thing I wanted to try out was night mode. So I took 2 pictures in pitch black environment. Keep in mind I live on campus, so I couldn't really go outside and take astrophotography pictures because for one, I don't have a tripod for my phone, and 2, there is no dark spots on campus, which means the photos just looked really ugly and looked very washed out. So I couldn't really take advantage of the astrophotography for the Gcam port. But just so you guys know, it does work and I've seen my friends do it. So if you are interested in that, then I would definitely recommend you download Gcam port. So like I said in the previous pictures, the stock camera app tends to make your photos yellower or have a warmer tone to it. And that is very prevalent when it comes to the night mode shots. So this is my computer setup, just showing the different color temperatures between the two. It's a very striking difference, and obviously I do prefer the look of the Gcam port when it comes to color temperature, but at the same time it has a purple ring on the outer edges of the photo that I do not like at all. Now when you go to the door photo, the outer ring of that purple that I was talking about from the first photo is a lot more prevalent and you can notice it more, mainly because it's just a picture of the door. But this is night mode on for 3 seconds, So that gives you a good understanding of how dark it was in my room. This is as dark of an environment as I could make it, and that's basically how I tested out this photo. Now, the last area that I wanted to go over was video recording. Now, like I said in the beginning, you can't use the selfie, so I'm not going to be testing the selfie recording capabilities because obviously the Gcam does not support that. Now, when it comes to the Gcam, when I went to the settings, it said 4K, but it didn't tell me 4K 60 or 4K 30, so I just assumed that it's 4K 60, right? So I set stock camera app to 4K 60, and I set the Gcam port to 4K, whatever that means, okay? Now, you can obviously tell there's a striking difference in that the Gcam port's video capabilities is not the greatest at all. I feel like the stuttering and lag that happens in the beginning of recording your video and all throughout the video makes it almost unusable for anybody that's looking to record videos through the Gcam port. And the stock camera app obviously does a lot of a better job because there's no lag, there's no stuttering, and honestly, when it comes to Gcam ports, you're not really in it for the video anyways. It's not one of their strong suits. It's more of just their color accuracy and their color temperatures and their detail that you like from the Gcam port. But this year, I want to be honest, Samsung has done a really good job this year, so I'm not even sure that it's even worth it to install the Gcam port on your device. Let me know what you guys think about the Gcam port in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.